Hey, it's Dan Latto speaking. So you can see the pool behind me and it's still got its cover on because we're well into December now. One of the things I wanted to talk to you in this video was about just dealing with some of the stress that we get over the December period and Christmas period in particular. Lots of divorces are about to start happening over Christmas, obviously. 2 weeks with your partner sometimes, some people might be too much. And in January, in fact, when I used to own the lettings agency, we used to actually get quite a lot of men turning up with the 2 black bags. That was all their worldly possessions, and they turn up with their 2 black bags, and that's where they were going to live now, out of their 2 black bags. So a lot of bad things happen, and a lot of that is down to the stress that's being created. But we all have stress, by the way, and for different people it just depends what's going on in their lives and how much stress they can handle. You know, we can all handle a certain amount, and then when it goes over that amount, that's it, everything goes wrong. And everything goes wrong in your life, not just one thing, but everything seems to go wrong. But let me just give you some hints and tips as to some of the things that you can do to help you through some of the stressful periods, and not just at Christmas, but any time really, frankly. You know, any time that you're going through times of additional stress. It can be in summer or winter or whatever. Okay, so step 1 is you've got to start managing the things that you can manage. You've got to control the things that you can control. What I mean by this is, what's one of the things that you can control right now? Well, obviously, one of the things you can control is your physique. You can choose what to eat. You can drink too much, or you can eat too much. You can have too many donuts. Donuts. I'm on a health kick right now, so I've not had a donut for quite some time. But it's up to you what you eat. No one's forcing this stuff in your mouth, so you can then start to take control over your body. How many times do you go to the gym? You can control how many times you go to the gym, and you might say, I'm too busy. You don't have to go to the gym. You can go out in the garden, do some push-ups, before bedtime, you go for a 10-minute run. Every little thing actually helps, okay? But control the things that you can control. When you start controlling the things that you control, you then have a list of things that you can't control. And the idea is to have 2 lists. Write a list on the left of things that you can control, and the things that you can't control on the right. And the things that you can't control, they need to be going onto this list on the left. So what's another thing that you control? Finances. People go, I can't control finances, I get paid a certain amount, I've got so many bills. Of course you can control finances. You can choose, instead of driving to work, you can cycle to work and not put petrol in the car. You can choose to make a packed lunch instead of eating out every day. You can choose all sorts of things, but the problem for most people is they have no idea what their finances look like, and so they're stressed about money. And so I say to them, are you stressed about money? How much money are you spending? They go, oh, too much. Okay, well, how much? I don't know. Well, that's why you're stressed, because you don't know. You've got to quantify it, put a figure on it. So go through your spreadsheet, like I've talked about this in videos before, and I listen to the podcast, we talk about it in the podcast. Go through your spreadsheet, start putting budgets in place. Every single expenditure, if you spend a lot on coffee, put that, you've got a budget for coffee and you can't go over it. Everything has to be detailed on this spreadsheet, and then you can forecast for 12 months in the future, and you go, well, I can't afford that now, but in 3 months' time I can afford it. If you want to go on a £3,000 holiday, what's the best way of paying for that? How about £300, 300 quid per month, saved for 10 months? We're in December now, so by October time you'll be able to go on a £3,000 holiday. That's a pretty nice holiday in anyone's estimation, I guess, right? Unless you're like Donald Trump, and like, he has that for breakfast, I guess. What is going on with Donald Trump, by the way? What a crazy guy, right? It makes the world go round. So, look, get in control of all the things that you can control. Write down a list of all the things. You'll be surprised at what you can control. What about your relationship? Can you control that? To some extent. Not completely, right? Because there's another person involved, right? But you can move some of the stuff over into a better relationship. So let's look at that. What are the things that cause the stress? Relationships, right? Money, for sure. Bad health. They're all 3 things that we can actually improve right now. Instantly. We can start doing the work that will start improving our health. I'm drinking 3 litres of water a day. It took me a while to get up to 3 litres, but I'm on 3 litres. I'm doing pretty well. Weekends, I sort of like 2.25 maybe, but generally I'm up to 3 litres. And I'm doing very well at that, and I can control that. So now I'm not stressed about my water intake. I'm not stressed about my body. I'm not stressed about my fitness, because all that's in control. I'm not stressed about money, because I've got my spreadsheet. I know what's coming in, what's going out, and I'm in a positive number, not a negative number. I'm not stressed about my relationship, because I can control that to some extent. By helping them get what they want, it means I can get more of what I want, which is perfect, right? What about work? Work is one of those things that's very stressful, right? But you're in control of that. I don't know if you know this. You're in control by a number of different ways, so let me explain them quickly. The first one is you can change your job. You don't like your job, you don't have to work there. No one's forcing you to work there. We're not living in slavery anymore. We don't do any of that. It's up to you. You can work where you want. You can pack your job in right now if you wanted to. Don't do that yet, by the way. Get another job first, obviously. And then if you don't like that job, then you change that job. And if you don't like that one, you change it. You keep changing it until you find a job you like, or until you leave work entirely, which is what I did, by the way. I hated all my jobs, pretty much hated all of them anyway. From First Direct, where I used to work, right through to Dell Computer Corporation, I hated them, I hated my bosses, I hated the whole lot, and then I left work. That was my inspiration, my motivation, if you like. But I was in total control of that, and I went from £15,000 a year to £100,000 a year in 4 years flat, from the ages of 26 to just before 29. And in that period of time, that's when I started building up my property portfolio. So you can do it too, but you've got to start taking control. Get the list of these things on this side and move them over to this side. What's another way of controlling your job? How about you start setting expectations to people? Dan, can you do this big pile of paperwork? Well, I can do, but not until a week on Monday. Well, it needs doing now. Yeah, but I've got all this other work that needs to be done. So I can do it, but not until a week on Monday. No, you don't. It has to be done now. I can't do it. If you need it to be done now, you have to give it to someone else. Oh, all right, then I will. And off we go. Now that is you setting expectations. Easier said than done sometimes, I recognise, especially if you've got a boss that's a boss that's overpowering or demanding or even sometimes a bit of a bully. But there are consequences for bullies, aren't there? There are things that you can do to highlight the bullying within a workplace. And if ultimately it doesn't work, you just leave the damn place. No one's forcing you to work there. But it comes down to you setting expectations. An expectation is, let me explain it to you, it's actually, I don't like you talking to me like that, and I want you to stop. That's it, and let them speak. Now you're starting to set what we call a boundary condition. So a boundary condition is like a box around what you deem to be acceptable. Anywhere outside of this box is unacceptable, anything inside is acceptable. If you've not clearly defined this box, I like doing this, it's like I'm voguing. If you've not clearly defined the box, then people will give you all this stuff around the outside. But as soon as you start to define it, this box, I'll just vogue one more time. As soon as you start to define that box, then people will start only doing what's inside that box. We call that setting expectations or managing boundaries. Okay, so look, this is what I want you to do. Write down a list of all the things that you can control. Write down a list of all the things you can't control and start moving these things from the can't control over to the can control. What will happen is your stress levels will start to decrease. Alright, I hope that's really useful for you, and my name's Dan Latto and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.